Hey guys, this is just a quick little insert I'm putting into the beginning of this video because after I did all the editing I realized that I have a lot more inserts in this one than I usually do. So there's a lot of little pictures of things and little words at the bottom, titles that I put in there to kind of help you with what I was talking about. So this one you might actually want to watch. I know you want to stitch, but this one you may want to watch through one time, maybe not, but there's a lot of neat, fun pictures in here. So just wanted to throw that in. I hope you enjoy it. Hey, welcome back to Sassy Jack Stitchery and YonderWays. YonderWays is the FlossTube channel of Sassy Jack Stitchery, and we are located in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Western North Carolina. Sassy Jack Stitchery is our brick and mortar shop, which is right now not a brick and mortar, but soon will be again. And YonderWays is kind of our teaching arm. So we adopted that name. If you watch some earlier videos, you'll see, because it's kind of a mix-up of names of Young and Ponder. My last name is Young, and my husband's last name is Ponder. So Yonder, which is also a nice colloquialism for, you know, gosh, probably all over the country, but certainly here in the South for location. And it depends on where you are as to what it means. So when you say over yonder, it could be close, it could be far. You kind of got to know who you're talking to. So anyway, YonderWays and Sassy Jack Stitchery. We would love it if you enjoy yourself here, if you subscribe. If you haven't found our Instagram page or our Facebook page, you know, please go out and check those out too. I post a lot on Facebook and a little bit on Instagram, and trying to ramp that up and get it all equalized a little bit. And then, of course, our website, sassyjackstitchery.com. So we did move out of our brick and mortar location in Weaverville at the end of January, simply because we were closed to customers all year last year. For the most part, I think we were open until March 13th because we left our calendar kind of stuck on that day. And we opened a little bit in the summertime for appointments, but we closed again in, I think, late November, shortly before Christmas, to customers at all. And, you know, because of the pandemic and the way things were here. So things are getting a little bit better here now, but we went ahead and moved out of our location at the end of January because we wanted to focus on our new location, which is an old folk Victorian built in 1878 that I purchased in 2013 or 14, maybe 14, I think 2014. And it's beautiful. It's on the National Listing of Historic Places. And we basically, gosh, we've done a lot of work here. And I'm actually here, by the way. So it's going to be a weird video, and it might be a little dark and the sound might be a little off because we still don't have permanent power here. We are hooked in through a temporary power pole. You know, you learn tons of things when you do something like this. And this is a commercial property now, even though it's a house, basically. But permits and stuff are very different on commercial properties. And if you're not ready to completely open your doors to the public, getting a temporary permit is very cost prohibitive in this area anyway. So we may end up doing that, but we want to be a little bit closer to opening up. So I'm here filming today, but we expect to be in here sometime in the summer. We had hoped for spring, but honestly, you know, gosh, I love you guys. I do. I've had a lot to do to keep the shop running and stuff, so I haven't been able to turn focus here. And honestly, neither is my husband. And to be honest, with no heat in here, we were kind of waiting for the big thaw. Even though we're in the South, it's cold. It gets cold in the winter, and it gets really hot in the summer. So I'm filming in one of the rooms upstairs that will be a fancy schmancy bathroom at some point. And the walls have been painted, and the ceilings are in, the floors are in. It's just going to be a really beautiful room. I'll show you just a little bit about the windows. So that one's not done yet. There's some in my office area that are done. And so Everett, who's a great woodworker, has to build out all the trim. And he's done that in another room just right on the other side of this wall, which will be kind of my little office. It's a beautiful house. You know, I'm struggling right now with color because to really show the product and stuff downstairs and get the right light, it kind of has to be white, which is not a traditional folk Victorian color. The upstairs of this house has its original color, and it's dark. It's beautiful in a way. It's really deep forest green, chocolate browns, just really deep, dark colors, kind of a dark red. And we may leave those colors in this top floor with the exception of the bathroom, which was a new addition. So we built this from ground up, and that's why we decided to paint it white. It's a little different. We'll probably stay with this white color in the shop too. Anyway, so it's been a little while, and I was thinking on the way over here, I watch a lot of FlossTube videos. I watch a lot of you guys, so I love many of you. I won't even start naming them because I just enjoy watching. But I've noticed that people kind of adopt a pattern, and I really don't. So this is probably getting into close to the late 30-ish something videos. Well, I've done tons more videos, but they're all specific to classes and things like that. But just general chat, we're in the 30s somewhere. So I think it's potluck, and that's what I'm going to go with, potluck. So I kind of wing it, and that's hopefully fun for you guys. Anyway, that's me. It's going to be potluck YonderWays. So yeah, so I'm in here in the Baird house. It's great. I want to show you something kind of fun. So this poor house was stripped of all of its doors and its hardware by the time we got it. We bought it from the bank. And it is on the National Listing of Historic Places. And it had a lot of beautiful things. So it's a folk Victorian, which means that it's not the fancy painted lady Victorians. It's more of a farmhouse with some beautiful extra things. And one of the beautiful extra things that it has is really beautiful molding everywhere. And it had really beautiful hardware everywhere. And of course, the hardware was taken out by the person that had it before me. And so I had to decide how to replace that. And there was one hinge in this whole house. There was one hinge that was left. Not a set of hinges on a door, but just one hinge. And it was pretty fancy. And if you go over to, and I'll put a link underneath this in the description, a Facebook page called The Baird House, B-A-R-D, Becoming Sassy Jack Stitchery. It's a long name. I named it years ago, back in 2014. You can see a lot of cool things. So we took a lot of video in here, a lot of pictures as we were doing the rehab. And I believe that that little hinge is over there somewhere. But it was kind of a steeple hinge. It was a really fancy schmancy thing. And of course, at that point in time, everything would have been brass. And it would get this beautiful patina. And so when I ordered hardware, which are light switch covers and hinges and doorknobs, I've gotten the light switch covers, but not the doorknobs yet. I have to wait and see, where we land on doors. I had a choice. I could order something that was already antiqued. I could order something that looked like brass but wasn't. I could order full brass and let it age. And so I'll tell you a little bit of the story of this house. I love this house. I have to tell you, I love this house. And I have spent many opportunities in here by myself, just kind of hanging out to feel whatever you feel in an old house. And for me, I've been through a lot of old houses, and I've purchased some rental properties, and there have been a number that I haven't purchased when I've walked through them. Not that I have a bunch. I have 3 little houses here in this area. I took the money that I made in my corporate career out of the stock market and invested in real estate in my hometown, only in my hometown, because I wanted to come home, and I knew this place and I knew these houses, and I felt like that was a good thing for me to do. And so that's what I did. So in the process of doing that, I walked through a lot of houses, and some of them don't feel good. They have a funky feel, and you can't really put your finger on it. You can't say what it is, and whatever. But some houses have a really good feel, and this one has a fabulous feel. And so this house was built somewhere in the late 1800s, 1878 or so is what it says on its documents, by a pretty prominent family at the time. And it's just a neat house, but it has a great feel to it. And I felt like, and it had been kind of disregarded for a long time. So only one family ever lived here. The original builder, Zebulon H. Baird, built this house and married, and they had one child, and his name is Henry. And Mr. Henry Baird lived here until he was 90, and he passed away. And the house sat empty after that. And so he died, I want to say in 1999 or 2000, somewhere around in there. And we bought the house in 2014. And for that whole period of time, it sat empty. And so, and of course, Mr. Baird was 90 when he died. And so, and he lived by himself. And he never married and he never had children. I think he had. Now, people locally here knew him, and there are still people around my age and older, 15 years older, that knew him. And he would shop, and, he was very frugal and just a neat person. But I felt like this house, because it had sat kind of on its own for so long, just waiting and hoping not to be torn down, because that was what was going to happen to it at the point that we bought it. The bank was really just selling it for the land. And didn't care about the house, and the house wasn't protected. Even though it was on the national listing of historic places, something happened in the way that it came through there, and it never got its easements on it, so it wasn't really protected. Not in all the ways it needed to be. Whoever owned it could just tear it down. And I have no intention of doing that. As soon as I'm finished with what I have to do to get it rehabbed, then I'm going to put the easements on it. And if you've ever done a property in a historical area, you know why I'm waiting. If I don't do it that way, I have to ask permission to change a light switch. I just can't. I don't have it in me for that. Anyway, I wanted to give the house back some of its special things. And one of the ways to do that was in the hardware. And so we purchased real brass hardware for all the light switch covers. And this house predates electricity, obviously, and there had never been electricity upstairs here. And you've probably heard me say this before, so I hope you're not bored. But I remember my electrician, he was very experienced, and who was, at the time he did this, probably maybe in his late 60s, 70s, calling me up one day and saying, Kim, there's no electricity, like nothing upstairs. And there was no electricity to the house anyway, because it had been cut and the house had been moved like 100 yards, still on its same property, but shifted forward toward the road to allow for the rest of the property to be sold and developed. And he said, there's never been electricity upstairs. And I hadn't even noticed that. I was like, wow. So, it was fun. Those guys, they had to pull wires through, lots of places. It was neat. And so anyway, we went with push button switches, which have little pearly buttons on them. And it's kind of neat, I think. They're all up and they're all in now. That's one of the things Everett did. I forget how many we had to order, but it was a ton. And so I appreciate Mr. Ponder for all the things that he did, because, if you think about putting in plugs and light switches in a house, it's a lot. It's a lot. And so, while my electrician had wired it, he had to, come in and put it all together. So it was fun. So the light switches, I think I've posted a picture somewhere. You can see that. But the hinges nobody's seen yet. And they were here, and they're not on the doors yet, because we have a number of antique doors that we've collected, 5-panel doors. And then we had to order some new doors. And so we bought what we needed for the antique doors, because we knew what the pattern needed to be, and we were waiting for the other doors. So a lot of the doors are here, and we'll be reordering. But I wanted to show you this. So I don't know if you can see that, but I just love it. And it is pretty, fancy, but it's very similar to what I found on the door that was here, except the patina. And of course, brass will dull over time, and I'm touching this one all over the place. I don't mind. You can always polish brass and make it beautiful and shiny like this again, or you can let it, get some age on it. And so we went with real brass, and we decided to give this beautiful belle back her party dress, and we'll let it age naturally and gracefully the way that she should have all these years. So pretty excited about that. So I just thought I would share that with you since I'm sitting here in the house. Just really, really neat. I won't bore you with a lot of other house stuff, but I will give you that link down below if you want to go over and check that out. So since we're talking about the house, I have 2 things I want to share with you. Just really wonderful gifts from Stitching Friends. One of them came from my friend Tori. And thank you, Tori. I loved it. was kind of waiting to share it here. Really sweet, pretty little card. The little bunny rabbits. Just super sweet. Okay, so here's a Jack, quote unquote. I'm going to say it wrong. So I'm hesitating. I think it says Springle. I may say that wrong. I might have to look that up. Cookie mold from Russia to add to your squirrel memorabilia. Looking forward to the opening of Sassy Jack's, Tori. So just really kind, and you know, lots of you have sent me very kind, wonderful gifts, and I appreciate it always. I don't do enough videos to get them shared appropriately the way that I should, and so I'll start doing that. I'll start saving it. I saved both of these, so it's wrapped very beautifully. As you can see, I might have peeked. I'm not going to lie about it, but I didn't actually take this ribbon off. Maybe I didn't peek because it's on there pretty good. I was trying to save this stuff, which is why I have to do this video right now in the house. Electricity or not, who cares about electricity? Because I need to really get a good look at these things. Crinkle, crinkle, I know. I'll get in trouble for that. It's just so beautiful. I'm going to take it completely out of its little cellophane here so that you can get a good look at it. Cookie molds are really neat things. There's a coffee shop in Amsterdam that has a whole wall full of antique cookie presses. Just gorgeous. And so, how beautiful is that? Thank you, Tori. I love this. It's just very, very beautiful. Just very, very, you know, in a way I would say simply made because it's just a block of wood. I mean, look at the intricacy of that. Oh gosh, it's just stunning. Let's show you again. I love it. Thank you so much, Tori. I love it. We have some neat squirrel things that we'll be putting in here. It's a good thing that my husband tolerates squirrels. So thank you for that, Tori. And then this one came to me like this. And this came from my friend Arlene. And at the beginning of this video, you guys see kind of a little, it's a needlework thing, a little, it hangs on my wall. It's a bell pull, actually, kind of. And it has these squirrels on it with these really fluffy tails. And I know you love it, and I know you've asked me for the pattern for it, but she made it as a combination of two patterns. So I might have to maybe create an adaptation of that for you. I don't want to use somebody else's pattern. And I can't really just find their pattern and sell it to you because it's two different ones. So same person made this for me. And I haven't looked at it yet. I opened it just this far and I stopped because I knew what it was then. And so, Erlene, thank you. It made me cry when I opened it. It belongs here in the Baird house, and it's a Baird sampler from the Baird sisters. And it's just beautiful. And it's a Jane Greenoff sampler. And so Jane Greenoff has 3 similar samplers in her collection that were stitched by 3 sisters. Their surname was Baird. Jane published her composite version of their sampler. So Jane kind of created a new one using the 3. I thought it very appropriate that the Baird house had the reproduction. Enclosed, you'll find the sampler that I worked for you as a housewarming gift. Right, I'm going to cry again. And I've been blessed with stitching friends who have stitched for me. And that's the most wonderful gift in the world. You know, and I don't care what it is. If it's a pin keep, anytime I get something that somebody's made, I'm just completely floored and taken aback. So this especially, so you're going to get singular. So my video stopped, so we start again. So I did not cheat. I did not cheat. Look at this. But this is another one. Look how beautifully it's wrapped. I think I just have the best friends in the world. I do. So I'm going to slide these off here. So you'll get to see this sampler. I can't wait. And I will contact Jane Greene, her company, and see if we can purchase this and have it available for sale for you. And I have a piece of whiteboard that I may have to hold up behind this for you to really see it. I'll hold it up this way first and see what you can see. Isn't it beautiful? And it's hem stitched. Just stunning. Thank you so much, Earlene. It's beautiful. And normally I would not show you the back of somebody else's stitching, but I'm telling you, this is impeccable. Wow, holy cow. I mean, it's just gorgeous. And so at the bottom it says the Baird Family Sampler. And it's this beautiful house with 2 bunny rabbits. It's got that beautiful honeysuckle border. That border around it's a honeysuckle border. And down here is where she says the Baird Family Sampler. And on the back, she's put her name in the hem stitch, Earlene Lepowski, 2021. And you will notice that her stitching is outrageously meticulous. This is the back, folks. So this is the front. So just shocking. See if I can get this. You know, I don't have all my fancy schmancy things to hold things on for you, so I'm going to put it on this piece of whiteboard. Back up so you can see it. Just so beautiful. Thank you. What a special gift. And so this is a fantastic way for you to finish a sampler. You can hem stitch it just like Earlene did. And you can float it. You saw in the video I did with Fiber Talk, we showed a lot of samplers that were floated, meaning that they were on an acid-free backboard and they were kind of tacked down. So if you want to frame them, you can float them, and then you show off this beautiful hem stitch. But I've never seen anybody do what she did here. So she put the name of it on, and then she put her name on the back of the hem. So pretty. Thank you. Thank you so much, Earlene. So very excited about that. And, you know, these motifs that are up at the top are kind of reminiscent of a band sampler from the 1700s. So I will get the information about this reproduction sampler for you. And, you know, if I can't make it to where you can order it from us, I'll give you the link to order from Jane Greene. That comes out of the UK. So, you know, probably if we can get it here, it'd be easier for you to order it. If you're stateside in the US, if you are in the UK, then of course, from the Cross Stitch Guild and Jane's company there. So, okay, so you might see a few cuts while I cut in and out to put things away so that I have them in a spot where I'm not worried about them getting dirty or anything like that. So that's why you're seeing a lot more cuts on this video. Wow, so that was amazing. So I don't know how to top either of those things. So, well, I'll show you my whips because that won't do it. So I'm going to show you just a few whips, not a lot, but just a few. The first one I'm going to show you is actually in a really beautiful, beautiful bag from Penelope's Pocket. And you see that tassel? She sent me a note with this bag and said, it's the first time I've made a tassel. I hope you like it. And I do. I love it. So thank you. These bags come out of the UK. And of course, you know I ordered this one. It's the beautiful squirrels. Fabulously made. And it's a treat. You know, they're kind of, at the time you pay the, you know, the conversion and stuff and the shipping there, you know, a treat, I will say. But anyway, yeah, from Sarah. She put a sweet little card with a sweet little mother of pearl button there. Beautiful, beautiful bag. I'll take all my stuff out, and that way you can see it on the inside as well. A few little things left in there, but just a gorgeous bag. So this one is something that I work on just every once in a while. I'm not in any big hurry. I will say this thread keep, this floss keep, is something that was a gift from Kathy Ray at Needle in a Haystack in California. And she made this for me, which is why it has my name, first name letter on it. So that's really pretty. So if you are interested in any of her floss keeps or thread keeps or the things that she makes with her laser cutter, you can go check out Needle in a Haystack. And I think she has that stuff for sale there. So life is real, life is earnest, and the grave is not its goal. Dust thou art, to dust returnest, was not spoken of the soul. And I really love that. And she tells us where this verse comes from. And I will have to look in here to tell you. It is Longfellow, I thought so. So it's Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, and it's from A Psalm of Life. And what the heart of the young man said to the psalmist. And so it's just a little extract from that. And it says the poem was first published in Knickerbocker magazine in October 1838. The poem also appeared in Voices in the Night, which was Longfellow's debut book of poetry, published in 1839. So I love this one. I kind of picked colors I thought matched Claudia's reproduction. Now her reproduction's on paper, and you can stitch it on perforated paper for sure. Or you can stitch it on linen, which I chose to do. So this linen is actually sand from Picture This Plus. And that's how far I've gotten. And I'm using two different silks. A water lilies. And I can put this in the description if you decide you want to stitch it this way. Plum. And Dinky Dye's Persian Jade. And I was trying to kind of imitate what Claudia did with her reproduction. So that's what the threads look like. So it's on sand, Picture This Plus, 36 count for me. Water lilies and Dinky Dyes. And I'll put that down in the description. And this one may be here in the Baird house, in the shop, you know, or it may be at home in my craft room or my home. And so the reason this fancy bathroom is here in the shop is because the bottom floor will be shop. The top floor will be 2 guest rooms. And so we'll probably keep more of the traditional colors up here. As I mentioned, we've got, you know, full bath up here as opposed to, you know, just a kind of a powder room downstairs. So, you know, there's an opportunity to put some fun antiques and things up here. And I've been thinking a lot about that and how to do that. So this is Spoken of the Soul from Dutch Street Designs. And I just love it. So I stitch on it sometimes in Stitch Group because it's just letters and it's an easy stitch and I very much enjoy it. And with that one, I do have my thicker Hardwick Manor hoop and I do have it wrapped. So this one is the one that, you know, was really popular a couple years ago, but it's thicker. And so it keeps you from getting cramps in your hand if you hold it in hand. I want to show you another one. Now this one's really special. This one is part of the white work class with Trish Newen. And I've taken classes with Trish before, but haven't been good at really working through them. And so this one I'm doing with a few friends. We get together once a week and we stitch on it. And it may be hard to see too much of this. I'll hold it up close for you. But this is the this is a practice band, a practice sampler, believe it or not. And it's on Legacy Linen. I forget which one this is. I think I do have this one in the shop. I'll have to look it up. I'll put it in the description which one this is. And the silks that we're stitching with on this one are Soie Paris. Now I do have Soie Goblin in the shop, and I think one of the next ones that we do is Soie Goblin. But this is a white work class, and it's, if you ever have a chance to take a class from Trish, you know, it's like taking a master's level course. It's just incredible. All the history and the detail that she has in there. And then, you know, this one came with 2 different kinds of linen. So a 30 count, and I think this is a 40 or 37. I can't remember now. And lots of different kinds of fibers, you know, silks, different silks and stuff. And then just scads and scads of just information and history. It's just amazing. And they're self-paced, and so you work through that on your own. It is good to do it with a friend to keep you motivated and to keep you kind of on track. As I mentioned, I normally don't stay on track. So my group has been helping me with this. So I appreciate you guys, you know, who you are for that. These are the Swap Harris. And, you know, we do have Swag Goblin. I'll show you those in the next video. And, you know, I really like stitching with, on some of the, like the Queen sampler, we switched out, so it calls for a Verissois, which we used. And then I switched out the pearl cottons on the white work and the DMC Dentil for legacy, not legacy linen, linen thread from, Gary's been saying it so much on Fiber Talk that now I can't think of the name of it. I'll come back to that. But linen thread and Swag Goblin. And it's beautiful on a 37 count for the Queen sampler. So if you decide you want to jump in for the Queen sampler, then we do have those threads, beautiful threads. The next thing I would like to share with you and talk to you a little bit about is the stitch along I kicked off for the Botany Bay sampler. So, Fox and Rabbit, Botany Bay. Now, this is a reproduction of a sampler from a museum. And Botany Bay is a location in Australia, and it's where they first landed when they were settling Australia. And there's a lot of discussion around what's really represented on the sampler. I will tell you that all of the Botany Bay samplers look kind of similar. And they all have a ship like that, and they all have, you know, kind of a little set of cliffs here, and most of them have soldiers. And so these figures here, these dark figures here, they really are very similar to what a Scottish soldier in full dress would look like. So they could be a number of things. There was discussion as to whether or not they were Aboriginals. I don't think they are. I think that they are Scottish soldiers, but you know, who knows? We're not in the mind of the original stitchers. So, but beautiful. So now, if you're going to join us, and I know a lot of you are, and I appreciate that, we actually do have the called for linen in stock, unless we've sold out of it recently. I believe it calls for Legacy from Picture This Plus, and we did have plenty of that in stock in 36 and 40. We may or may not at this point, but you can certainly go out and check that. I actually am not going to stitch it on that. I really wanted to stitch it on a Fox and Rabbit linen, which is the company that reproduced it. And so I'm going to stitch it on hog bristle, which is this, which is beautiful. And we do have lots of the Fox and Rabbit linen, and we have some new colors coming in for it. But these are the colors, and you can see they all look really, really beautiful here. And so I pulled a mix of what was called for with the overdyed threads, and then I substituted out some Cosmo and maybe some DMC. And of course, you can jump over and try to do this in silks if you want to do that. If you want to try this combination, I'll post it for you. So I'm excited about that. I haven't started it yet because I was really not sure what linen I wanted to do, but I've settled on this hog bristle. I really, really love it. So just beautiful. So I hope you join us with that. It's a beautiful, beautiful sampler. I love the ship on it. We're not gonna, rush through it. There's no timeline. Just post, your progress. And see, I love the thistles. It's got these two giant thistles. Anyway, I hope you join us. So it calls for Classic Colorworks, DMC, Gentle Art, and Week Style Works. So you can kit it up however you want. If you use the called for, it's going to be overdyed threads. You could mix in a few DMC or, transition those DMCs over to Cosmo and do the Cosmo. I started working through, looking through all of my bins of, whips and projects and stash, essentially. I'm unpacking finally. I know, it's crazy, at home. And I started that yesterday. And I knew I had a lot of stuff that I could probably rehome, we'll call it that. And so I put together 3 bins, containers full of things yesterday, and I haven't made it through most of my stuff yet. And so in these FlossTube videos that are just me, the YonderWays videos, I will give you guys a chance to adopt. So I brought 3 things today. One of them is just a simple little chart and a piece of fabric and some buttons. And I bought this from my local needlework shop called the Lazy Daisy before they closed. And you can see it's from 2010. And it's just a really cool little block chart. A Sam Sarah design called W is for Wizard. And they did a whole series of these. And I just thought this one was pretty cool. And so in my bag, my little kitted up version, I have the linen for it. So I have the square of linen that you need. And it's cut to the exact right size. And I have the little buttons that go with it. So if you would like to give this little guy a good home, then you can just, in your comment, put the word wizard. Okay? Just wizard. And I would ask you, please don't adopt them if you're not going to stitch it, or if you're not going to gift it to somebody to stitch it. I'm really not doing this for you guys to turn around and resell them. Else I could do that. I don't want to do that. I just want them to find good homes. So I would encourage you to, adopt them if you want to stitch them, or if you know somebody that wants to stitch them, or if you want to gift it. So, please just, in the spirit of this, do that for me. And if you stitch it, post a pic. Yeah, that would be great. And tag us on it. So you can tag YonderWays or Sassy Jack Stitchery. So wizard for this one. The wizard chart and the linen and the buttons. The next one is something kind of different. And so I did this class online, the Shining Needle Society. And if you've never looked out there, it's still around. They're great. They present, well-known designers and teachers, people who know how to teach. And you can do online classes through them. And so they've been doing online classes years, a decade before the rest of us were doing online classes. And one of the ones I did with them was on a Tamari. And a Tamari, I'll insert a picture here and give you a link. But a Tamari is a little ball that's firm to the touch. It comes out of Japan, and the concept does. And you can make these beautiful designs on this ball. And I have 1 or 2 that I made. It's not my thing, though. They take more focus than what I have right now to do. So this class was taught by Barbara Seuss, who's well known for it. I don't have the instructions for the class, but if it helps you to know what the color scheme is, it's called Desert Spirit Tamari. And so you can go out and buy the book from Barbara Seuss, because she did a number of books on Tamari, and you can probably work your way through it. The great thing about this class is that it has absolutely everything. This kit has everything you need. And I clearly haven't even opened it. So it's got all the threads, the pins. It's even got a little measuring thing in there. And you can kind of see the colors for it. It is a desert scheme. And so it has, this kit of thread. It has yarn, because you need that to make the Tamari. It has the stuffing for the Tamari. So, it's a full kit. It's everything but the instructions. So, if you like Tamari, or you want to learn how to make Tamari, and you're willing to buy the Barbara Seuss book to do it, and I would suggest that you buy her book to do it, then, you can probably get through this on your own. If you already know how to make Tamari, you certainly can. It's a great kit. I'm sure it was not inexpensive, but I'm never going to do it. So, if you would like to have this, then put Seuss in your comment. S-E-U-S-S. I would have you put Tamari, but it's probably even harder to spell. So put Seuss in your comments, and I'll get you that kit. That kit. That'll be fun. Okay, and I've got one more. This is a workshop that I did with Susan Greene Davis. And I have lots of her kits, and a lot of them I finished and some of them I haven't. This one I actually did finish, but I had 2 other kits for it. And so this is one of them because I was going to make them for gifts. And I think I have made 1 or 2 for gifts. But it comes with this beautiful bag that's already made. And it's the perfect size bag to put a book in or a tablet. And so you can put that in there, and it's very sturdy and durable. And then it comes with the supplies and the pattern to make this. So it's a beautiful little prim. Look at me trying to look underneath my arm. A beautiful little prim kind of sampler with a few specialty stitches. And Susan does great directions. You won't have any trouble with this. It looks like those are all Smyrna crosses for the most part. So it has the thread, and it has the linen, and it has the bag, and the backing. So here's the wool, the linen, and it has this beautiful, nice wool for the back of that, because you can make that into a pocket on the front, and you sew that on the front. And then there's like 4 threads here, and they're all different kinds. So you've got these 2 threads from Gentle Art, and then these 2 bobbinated threads. So that full kit, if you want that, put bag, just the word bag, into your comment, and I will select and give those away. And so I will announce the winner for these things in my next video, which will be in about a week, because I want to share some Blackbird stuff with you that I found too. So, you know, don't delay. Get your comment out there, and I'll get that to you. So, I want to show you another whip. And the reason I want to show you this whip is because I love these thread loops. And I posted about it somewhere, maybe on Facebook or something. And because this sampler is out there for free through tomorrow only. And so this is the sampler from Marion Lane. And we showed this sampler on the FlossTube video that we did with Fiber Talk last Wednesday. And we put it out there available on the Fiber Talk website for free through tomorrow, through Wednesday. So it'll be out there through Wednesday, the 21st, I believe it'll be. Whatever that Wednesday is. So you'll want to jump out there and download that chart. It's a Scottish sampler, and it came from the collection of Lorraine Moots. We bought it from her, and Jacob de Roth did the research for us on the history of the girl. He found her immediately. So I would encourage you to watch Jacob's videos. I mean, he's amazing. I love Jacob. I really do. I met him very briefly in Europe a number of years ago. I don't think he remembers it, and I only remember it because I was super tired. He was meeting my friend Nikki over there, and they were going to chat, and she invited me to join, and I was so wiped out that I just couldn't stay. And so I just kind of breezed through and said hello and went to the room and went to bed. So since then, you know, he's, you know, really taken off with this design company, and his videos are just wonderful. So I hope you do watch. So Marion, I started stitching her with some Cosmo thread, actually. And this is what I wanted to show you, because I love these thread loops. Not because they're Bonnie's, but because they have this extra hole over here for you to put your, what I would call a working thread. And so you know how you pull a strand off, it's technically called a strand, and then you ply it down. So you pull a couple of other strands out of it, because it's usually 6 or more. And then you have to do something with the rest. Well, you can certainly put them back on here, but I love putting them on the little, in that extra little loop. And this little thread keep loop, that is from Becky Nolan. And that is, the little picture in it is from Though He Seemeth Sleeping. So it's from her sampler, which I love. So I bought it for that, but I haven't started that yet. So Lucy Bean Designs, that's the name of her company. So that's the little floss key. But, you know, we may have sold out of these. We'll get more of them. They haven't been in stock in a while. And when they came back in stock, I immediately ordered them, but I love them. So if you can find those, that's a great idea. And this is where I am with my, can't see it because the glare, where I am with my Marion Lang. And so you can see it's a small sampler. This is 30 count linen. So this is 30 count linen, and it's still that small. So Marion Lang, go out and download her. Jacob just gave us some wonderful history. You'll enjoy that. And save her and stitch her when you can. But that's one of my whips that I started last week. I want to share a new chart that we got into the shop with you. This is from With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. And I love this sampler. I love the chart. She did some really neat stuff. So she's included some history in here for you. I mean, it's a beautiful chart. I'm probably going to stitch this one. I love the colors of it. Her color is always magnificent. And this is a picture of the antique inside the chart. So it's just beautifully done. I'm looking forward to stitching this one. That brings me to Sunday Stitches. And so we are, right now, we are shipping out the 4th chart in Sunday Stitches. And Sunday Stitches is a series from Heartstring Samplery. It was a really nice thing of her to do. She made this available to shops that are on her auto that purchase from her. And I love this one. And this is called It Is Well With My Soul. I got it wrong on my invoices I sent out, so I apologize for that. And it so happens, the reason I bring this to show it to you today is I was listening to some music this morning, and it was bluegrass music. And there's a version of It Is Well With My Soul from the Isaacs. And if I can figure out how to make it available to you, I will. But if not, I'll put a link to it in the description. It's a cappella. It is the most beautiful version of that hymn I have ever heard. And, you know, it was just amazing. I listened to it a couple of times. So I felt like it must mean that I should share this with you today. So I did. So it's a beautiful, beautiful design. I brought the Ada today to show you. And these are the threads for that particular one. So this is a Wren Ada, which is what we've been kitting it on. You can see it's just gorgeous on here. This picture, this plus. And this is a little floss tag that we've been sending out. I mentioned it on the FlossTube I did with Fiber Talk. That is a little extract of one of the most beautiful samplers in our collection. That's what we'll do with these floss cards. So we just drop them in when we have several different flosses that somebody orders. We just put them on this and send them out just so they're pretty for you. When we cycle through all of these cards, then I'll pick another sampler and make another one so that you're getting something different every few months or so. You know, I saw somebody make a comment on Reddit about somebody got really excited about a package that they got from us and how pretty it was wrapped. And they posted about it on Reddit, and somebody came back in and they said, every time I see something that's wrapped fancy, I know that I've paid too much for it and I don't shop there. And the other person came back and said, what did she say? It was really funny. Killjoy much or something like that. And I was like, yeah, that is kind of mean, right? Somebody's happy about something, excited, and you kind of yank the carpet out from under them. But just to make it clear, we don't increase our prices for anything. I mean, I run this shop because I love doing this. I really genuinely do. If I wanted to be rich, I would have kept my old job. You know, that's just what it comes down to. I'm just being honest with you. And I'd still be doing that. I'm only 52. I had another good, 15 years in me before, I would have had to retire. So I do this because I love it. And if you get beautiful wrapping from us, or pretty wrapping, or fun wrapping from us, or you get a little floss tag, or you get a little project sticker in the mail, which we put in the mail with everything pretty much, or you get a free needle. We do that sometimes. It's because I just wanted to, right? So, you know, the naysayers out there who think that we're, you know, charging you something crazy for that, we're not. So it's just, we're just giving back, you know, and that's why you've got some free charts out there from us. I mean, one thing I hope that this shop leaves as a legacy is that we enjoyed it, we loved it, and we gave back. You know, I'll get emotional about that because it's emotional to me. But, you know, just in terms of life in general, I feel like that's why we walk the earth. We walk the earth to give back, to make it a better place. And not that these little things are incredibly significant that we do here at the shop, but, you know, we're just trying to give back. So please enjoy it. You know, and if you end up with something that you can't use or you don't like, gift it, give it away. But don't lay awake at night wondering, did you overpay? Because you didn't. You know, we charge the same thing for our charts and our linen that everybody else charges, and our threads, and our shipping, you know, is very reasonably priced. I can tell you, I looked at it just this past week, and most of the time we spend more on shipping than we've charged you. Not all the time, but I'm going to say about 70% of the time, or somewhere in there, we're spending a little bit more than what we charged you. Because I was looking at the rate to see is that the right rate, because postage has gone up and so on and so forth. And internationally, we're always in the hole. So we did increase our international shipping, but our domestic shipping is still at $4. It's a flat $4. And I do that because it would take me so much more time to calculate it and then bill it to you. It's just easier to charge the flat $4. So most of the time, the postage that's coming to you, it's right at $4 or maybe a little bit above. Once in a while, a little bit below. And a lot of times, if it's heavy, it's going priority. And so it's almost twice as much. So, you know, I'll get off my little soapbox, but I wanted you to know that, you know, if we put that needle in there, or that floss card in there, or this floss tag, or we put a bow on your package, we're not trying to make money off that. We're just trying to make you happy. And it makes us happy to do it. It's as much fun for me. I guarantee you it's probably more fun for us than it is for you. And especially when Angie's here, Angie Weaver, she's in tax season. She works for my sister-in-law in their tax business. And then she comes back to us the rest of the year. She loves wrapping packages. And Catherine Cole is the same way. Catherine and Angie are fabulous at it. And so if you get something that you're like, oh, that's really pretty, it's one of them that did it. Because I get the bow on it and I get it wrapped, but I move along. So I enjoy it, and I usually try to put the little goodies in there, but those guys really do a great job wrapping. They're good at it. So anyway, out of the blue on that one, but I just wanted you to know that. So it is well with my soul. I hope you are loving these. So you can buy these individually from us if you like. You can join our auto. On our auto, the way we do our auto is that we monthly will send you out an invoice for it. And if you don't want it, you just don't pay the invoice and we don't ship it. But you're still on the auto for the next month. And so you still get a chance to see the next one. And then for these people that are in the auto, I'm sending out a newsletter every month with linen choices. So you have that option too. So if you want to join the auto, if you buy an individual chart, just put a note in there, hey, put me on the auto, and I'll put you on the auto. We do have a lot of banding, and I just can't get it all online, but we're still doing our learning stitches. And I think the lesson that I have that I'm editing right now is lesson 9. I've had it since January. I apologize, but I'm going to get it out there this week. But, you know, this is a 3-inch hem stitch. I've got this in antique, and I've got it in white. And so it comes in a 1-yard cut for the class, and you can see I've got plenty of it. You know, originally we started out with a wider one, and I will try to go out and update those if you want to do a 4-inch. But, you know, gosh, some people have done some beautiful things with this learning stitches. And Jeanette posted a really gorgeous finish of the sampler on her Instagram, I think it was. Just stunning. And I have a little freebie that I'm going to be sending out to folks that are part of that this week when I post the next lesson. And, you know, so join us if you want to. I know it's here and there when I get the lessons out, but I'm sure you've got other things to stitch on. And you do have the book. You have to have the book to do the lessons. You might be able to get through the first one maybe without it, but you really need that book. Jeanette's instructions are fantastic. And it's a reference book, and you'll have it. And then you'll be able to stitch the full sampler at the end if you want to do that. And if you decide you want to stitch the full sampler, you can buy the thread kit from us. We have the silk kit in stock. We have the linen for it, so you know we can take care of you with that. Or if you want to do it the way this other lady did it that Jeanette posted, you'll have to go out. I'll try to put a link. Go out and look at that, or maybe I'll put a picture in here for you. I'll try to do that. Just beautiful, really inventive, different the way she did it. And if you watch Country Stitchers, go back and watch one of those episodes, because those guys, it just blew me away what she's done with that learning stitches thing. So go have a look at that. And anyway, their videos are fantastic. I'll put a link to that video here so that you know which episode it is. But wow, what a beautiful squirrel she put on that. So we'll keep moving through that. There's 15 lessons, and we'll get through that. And, you know, hopefully this year. And then we'll start another one. So it'll be fun. So I just wanted to let you know that we do still have a lot of banding, and you guys can, you know, I'll try to get it updated. I'll never have all of my banding online. I just don't have the capacity to do that. And honestly, you know, it's kind of fun to come in and see it. You know, I love Dime Stitch too. That's another shop. If I got to grow up and be somebody, it would be Dime Stitch. I love their shop, Pat and Ann. And so I sent Ann a whole bunch of different bandings a few months ago. So we'll get to see what she stitches with that. It'll be fun. So anyway, when we open back up, we'll still have that banding thing. Hopefully we'll be able to go back to Germany and get some more. I haven't been there now in a year, so we'll see how that goes. So the last thing I really want to do for you is show you some other antiques. So this is one of those fabric rolls. You heard Susan and I talk about it. I do kind of keep some of mine in here. I should do a little less of that because it's not the best way to keep them, and I am working on that. These will probably transition out of these rolls, but I'll still keep these rolls from when I travel if I think I might end up buying something. So I don't know what's in each of these rolls right now, and I thought I would just I'd bring one every few videos, and we'll open it and we'll see what's in here. And so that's what we're going to do today. And that's why you hear all the crinkle crinkle. There's acid-free tissue in here between each sampler. Oh, fun. Okay. So this one has the Antique of Christian Henry in it. And so that's this. Let me get it on this so you can see it. So Christian Henry was a sampler that we debuted in our soiree. Is that the back? That is the back. That we debuted in our soiree last September. And Jacob actually did the research on this one for us too. And it's a Scottish sampler. It's so big because it's on really large count linen. And so it's a really beautiful Scottish sampler. And if you heard me talk about Scottish samplers on Fiber Talk, you heard me say that a lot of times they have a house with a big front door like this one does. And they have a lot of red and green in it, which this one does. This one's neat because it's got this spot motif sampler at the bottom with that house, and it's got its alphabets above. And so this one is available for download right now, and it's also available for printed copy purchase. So if you like that one is charted and out there. It was stitched in October of 1816, and we do have some of the research from Jacob available with that one, which is awesome. So we really appreciate you, Jacob. We do. Okay, I'm about to drop all these things, so let's see what else is in here. A Mexican sampler. Okay, this one's really pretty. This is just a really pretty Mexican sampler. And Mexican samplers are very colorful, and they've got great use of stitches on it. So this one's just beautiful, and we will chart this one. And of course it's in Spanish at the top, and I had a friend of mine who is Mexican translate it for me. And I think it says that it's dedicated to their mother. So it has the stitcher's name, and then it said it's dedicated to my mother. And my friend, he loved looking at this. It was a little bit of home for him. So this one's not charted yet, but it will be. But that's a good example of a Mexican or Spanish sampler. Oh, pretty. This is another beautiful little Scottish from. Oh, you want to see it? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just looking at myself. Kidding. I was trying to read what was at the bottom of it. How pretty is that? Lots and lots of color. I don't know if this one's charted or not. I feel like it is. I feel like Allie's charted this one already. But just really beautiful. Yeah. So I hope you like that one. And you see the red, so it's got it's got a lot of red in it, and it's got a lot of other colors. So just a real pretty one. Yeah. So that's all that was in this roll for today. So that's probably a good stopping point. I think by the time I get all my ins and outs edited, and it'll be a long video. And so I hope that's okay with you. I hope you enjoyed the potluck. It's just like coming over to a friend's house. And I will tell you honest and true, that's one of the biggest things I look forward to with opening this shop, is being able to just have people in here. And, we'll have a full kitchen here. Eventually we'll have our classroom building right next door. The social thing is just so important. And I know we've all missed that so much in the last year. I can't wait to actually have a potluck here and have my stitching friends over. And so, I just can't wait. I can't tell you what joy wells up in me thinking about that. And, once we have that classroom building, being able to open that up and say, hey, you guys, if you're going to be in town, come over. It is what I wanted. And that's what this house represents to me. And talking to you about that in this house feels so good. Like there's such a positive energy in here right now. I can't wait to share it all with you. And I appreciate you hanging in with me, do the transition and all that's meant, and, being a little bit behind in shipping orders, and, we're getting caught up. So thanks for the patience there. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, I hope that you will, subscribe and like, and, let your buddies know. And don't forget about the giveaways. It was Wizard for the Wizard chart, bag for the Susan Greening Davis kit, and Seuss, S-E-U-S-S, for the Tamari ball kit. And please make sure that there are things that you want or that you're going to give to a good friend. Anyway, I will see you next week, because we're going to talk about Blackbird, and it should be fun. I found a few Blackbirds that are in process. So that's awesome. Surprise, surprise. So I'll be joining the Stitch Along with Brenda and the Serial Stitcher. The first weekend in May is when it starts. And I think she said she wanted to do it like the first weekend of the month going forward. And so, I forget what the hashtag was for that, but you can watch their video. I'll put it down below. And we're going to join in and stitch some Blackbirds with them. And we do have a lot of Blackbird charts. So, check us out for that if you're looking for that. So, ramble. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the potluck. And I hope you come back and join me again next week. Have a great week.